Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the Primitive Campground at Table Rock State Park. Table Rock is located on Scenic Highway 11 in Upstate South Carolina. It is a 3,000-acre state park, one of the more popular state parks in South Carolina, especially due to the famous trail, Table Rock Trail, that goes to the very top of the mountain, and the brand new Stool Mountain Trail as well that goes to the top of Stool Mountain. So there's a lot of hiking. It's where the Foothills Trail begins and runs continuously 77 miles to Oconee State Park. Very popular through hike. So today I'm going to do a walkthrough of the primitive campsites, which are located on the south side of Highway 11, just to give more detail about that campground.
There's the top of Table Rock. You just can't see it because of all the trees. But I'm on the south side of Highway 11, which is where the visitor center is. Way through there, that's the visitor center. There's the parking and trail to the primitive campsites here at Table Rock State Park. So let's take a look at the access trail and the campsites for the primitive tent camping, located right next to the lovely Lake Oolenoy. So a lot of my college buddies are camping here with their families and their kids this weekend. And they all brought wagons to cart their camping gear in because they said this trail is pretty long. So just something to think about. If you got to make multiple trips, you're going to be spending a lot of time going back and forth. But if you've got a buggy or a wagon that you can bring to help transport stuff in, that's going to help to get all your supplies back here to the primitive tent sites. It's pretty back here. A lot of roots. Hopefully your cart, little wagon, has big wheels. I see the first tent. That wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be a lot longer than that. And then there is another trail, I think, to access bathrooms and also to access a water pump as your water source. So, like I said, these really are primitive, but everything's within walking distance. Kind of on a slope. I thought it'd be more flat. So there's what they brought to get their gear in here. Kind of up above the lake. In the winter, it's probably really pretty views. But kind of a sloped campsite with the flattened out tent pad. So I think this is campsite 4. Let's go check out the others. So here's campsite 1. You got to go up kind of a little steep hill, but then they do have a pretty nice flat. They got the tent pad, but then they do kind of have a nice flat area for their actual campsite and fire pit. Okay, so this says TS2. And this is kind of cool because it's sort of up on top of the ridge. So there's campsite 1. It's got a little connector trail. This is nice because you're up on a really flat area on top of the ridge. Not sure where the main trail is. I'll have to go look for that. Okay, so from campsite 1, there's another little connector trail. Let's go check. This is campsite 5, primitive site 5. And then that's probably the main, there's kind of the main trail coming down. And there's 2 up there, nice and flat. There's your tent pad. So this is nice and open. And then there's another site down there. It's campsite 6. So there's your tent pad, kind of a little bit of a sloped camping area with your fire pit. Looking down at the back, the very back of Lake Oolenoy. There's the dam. This one would be cool. You'd be kind of all by yourself, kind of out on this point. Looks like a little trail down to the water. Okay, back up at campsite 2, which apparently is right beside campsite 3. Maybe that's the trail to get here. Seems kind of weird that you have to go through other people's campsites to get here, but that might be the access trail for campsite 3. There's your tent pad. Looks fairly even. Looks pretty flat from here. Somewhat flat because you're still up on this ridge, just like campsite 2. It's a kind of a flatter little area right here. Not sure where that goes. Probably not a real trail. So here's probably a real trail to campsite 2 and 3, kind of up here on the ridge. And here is your signs to bathroom and water. That way. So we'll go check that out, see how long a walk that is. Okay. So I came in down there on that trail. So I guess you're supposed to come up and around to get to 1 and 2. But we can time the length of this video. Then you'll know how far of a walk to bathrooms and water source. This is probably a little longer of a walk than it was from the parking lot to the campsites. But I'll put the exact time it took me to walk back here. It's an easy walk. It's super flat along the top of the ridge. So, okay. So there's your pit toilet. There's your pit toilet from the primitive campsites. There's your water pump. There's your potable water source. I'm at 4.5 minutes, but also stopped and looked around at the beginning. Here's a little map. So there's where we parked, walked in to the primitive campsites, and then here's what I just did all the way to the pit toilets. You can tell that is a longer trail. Okay, so right as you get to the campsites, there's campsite 4. The trail veers up to the other tent sites. What I didn't notice is there's a little side trail with signs to the pit toilet and water, but this little side trail actually goes up to the trail access to campsite 1 and 2 up on the top of the ridge. So if you don't want to walk through people's campsites and you're in 1 or 2, use this little side trail to go up and along the ridge. And you'll be on the main trail for the bathroom and water. And if you're in the other campsites, you're just going to use this main trail to get to your campsite. All right, guys, that's my walk around of the primitive tent sites here at Table Rock State Park off Highway 11 in South Carolina. It's a beautiful October day. Fall is coming. It's not peak, but it's almost here, and we just had beautiful weather today. So I wanted to do a quick walkthrough to kind of show you the trails that you're dealing with. But pretty cool campsites up here above Lake Oolenoy, and hope this is helpful for anybody trying to book a reservation here. And if you found this helpful, give me a like, hit subscribe if you want to help my channel grow, and happy camping. There's Table Rock. You can actually see it from the primitive site trail. And there's a overly loud motorcycle on Highway 11, which is probably pretty common on a Saturday. But if you do want to go hiking, just know that you're going to have to cross over to the other side of Highway 11 to get to all the trailheads. That's where the RV campsites are. But on this side is the primitive sites, Lake Oolenoy access, and the visitor center.